What's going on, guys? This is Brian. Welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to set up your exporter buttons to work within FL Studio if you're using any of the Native Instruments A series or S series MIDI controllers. This is something that I've found to be a common issue with these MIDI controllers, that the transporter functions don't work off the bat. So there's a couple of things that you have to do within FL Studio to make sure they work. Before I get into that, I'm just going to show you quickly what I've got here. I've got the Native Instruments M32. This is a 32 key mini key MIDI controller from Native Instruments. It's got rotary knobs, encoder knob, so transporter functions over there, and your touch strips there, that's modulation and pitch bend. And then it's got a little display as well to just show you what it is that you're doing, so that you don't necessarily have to look at your screen. And at the back, very simple, sustain or foot pedal control, and then your USB over there. Small, compact, can easily be carried around, throw it into your backpack, take it over to a friend's studio, do some music. Very, very easy, very, very cool little piece of equipment here. Another thing I like about it is it's super smart. So it's got some very good smart functions in here. Also, you are able to control complete control with this little keyboard. So everything you can do, well, most of the stuff you can do on the bigger ones, including the A series MIDI controllers, you can do on this little guy right here. So today I'm just going to show you how best to set this up for FL Studio so that you're able to use most of the buttons here to control FL Studio. It's quite easy. So first, what you have to do is plug in your controller. Once it's plugged in, it lights up like that, and then boom, it's ready to go. It's also important to note that once you plugged it in, you need to update the firmware. So once you've updated the firmware for the unit, then you're able to get started with setting it up in FL Studio. So you're going to go to Options over here, and then you go to MIDI Settings. Inside MIDI Settings, you should be able to see your M32, Complete Control M32, or whatever hardware you've connected. You should be able to see it, whether it's the A49, A61, A25, or the S49 or S61 or S88. You should be able to see it pop up here on this list. Okay, so first thing you're going to do, make sure Complete Control is installed. That is inside Native Access. So you would open Native Access, find Complete Control, install that, and then you're ready to go. That's literally the driver that'll work for all the Complete Control MIDI keyboards. Cool. Once you've done that, we're going to go over here, select our M32, make sure it's selected like that, and make sure it's enabled so that you're able to use the M32 as a controller. Over here, you can leave it as it is under generic controller. No need to change anything there. But down here, where it says Complete Control M DAW, that's where your changes are going to come in. So make sure it's enabled, and in your controller type list, you're going to look for Mackie Control Universal. Click on that, make sure it's set to Mackie Control Universal, and then select a port. I've selected port 102, so you can select whatever port you want just to avoid any conflicts with any of the hardware that you have connected. And that's it. Once you've done that, the transport controls on your keyboard should work with FL Studio. Sometimes you may need to reboot FL Studio, so close and open it again. Cool. So once you restart it, it should be working now. So if you pay attention to this red button over here, if I press record, see it activates. If I press record, it deactivates. If I press play, it comes, it plays. Press stop, and it stops. And that's literally how you set up your transport controls to work in FL Studio. If you want to use the rotary knobs for anything, so let's say you want to assign them to the mixer, so you just go over here, right click, and then say link to controller, and then you just touch one of the knobs, and there we go. So my first rotary knob controls channel 1's volume. For channel 2, I just select it there, link to controller, there we go, channel 2. Same thing for this one, link to controller, there we go, channel 3. You can also go as far as using some of these knobs to control certain parameters on your plugin. So let's say I'm using let's go for one with a few knobs. Let's say I'm using this synth right here, this oscillator here. I could say I want this knob to be controlled by the 4th rotary knob on my MIDI controller, and boom, it's that easy. And so on and so forth. So you can assign different functions to different parts of your MIDI keyboard and use them in that way. That's pretty much how I would use the M32 inside of FL Studio. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit that notification bell so you can get a notification every time we post a video. Stay safe, guys. Cheers. Thanks for watching.